Hi there. So, quick note to Nirvana 115. Pay attention in class.
Yes.
Huh? It's
Math
important.
is important.
There you go. It rules the world.
All right. Hi, everyone. Hello.
Hi. Good to have you here. Oh, by the way, Bjorn, there's... it's been a while, but anyway, we'll talk about it afterwards. We may have a replacement for Bjorn.
Not because he's.
No, for no reason. Just, Okay.
So,
Thank you,
really,
Bjorn, for joining us.
Yes. Thank you, our mods that are here: Clyde, Murph, Shiroku, Suggestive, and Warfidus. Thank you, guys.
And
being
a
here.
quick shout out to Moobot, because,
Yes.
doesn't get any respect.
So yeah, I did not die. I was very sick last week, but I am totally full of energy actually right now. I'm really happy to be back.
The PAX box.
Oh yeah, that was
Like everyone.
quite horrible.
It's maybe because that is one of the conventions where people are the warmest and you see so many friends and you hug people and you shake hands and then it's disgusting and then you get sick.
Aggie is like, I gave Queen the PAX box.
Well done. Achievement
Thank you,
unlocked.
Aggie. Alright.
Okay, let's get to our news
On
then.
this, we have a lot of small news,
Yep.
other not so small. First off, there's already it's already out.
Oh, it's out.
But
Okay, cool.
we have Emblem system feedback survey. So we heard a lot since the emblems have been out. We launched the survey yesterday. Please go fill it out. We're really using these feedback surveys to balance everything.
So-
As we said before, we're taking our time now
Yeah.
before we change anything. So
Well, but we are working now on
Yeah.
tweaks and adjustments, but that feedback is going to be super useful. We're just not
really,
going to
really important.
react immediately.
All right.
So that's good.
Other thing, we are closing the external report form for in-game reports. We are asking you guys to please use the in-game report form. We have someone who is currently working to improve that system, so you guys can copy and paste links, for example, in the reports.
Yeah.
So the reports are going to be a lot more specifics. And also, when you receive a ban, you're going to have a really better reason, exactly the reason. So this is something we're working on, so please do not use the external report form anymore, only in-game reports. Thank you for this.
All right. So Ryugi and Sujan are saying it's okay, we can be ignored again this week. Because they don't appear in the list there, so you don't say
Why
hi
are
to
you
them.
guys not in the list? Come on.
I don't know. They're
I'm sure
incognito.
Lucy is there too.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a lot of. I don't know. You're not in the list. I don't understand why.
All right.
Another really exciting thing for the 100th episode.
So we're at 97 today.
Yes,
So 3 more.
we are revamping the way we're doing the live streams.
Yeah.
So we're gonna change the whole formula. It's gonna we're gonna take things out of it, bring new things in,
Yeah.
change the pace also, but we also want your opinion on it.
Because believe it or not, we're doing this for you. We're not doing this for ourselves. We're enjoying it, but really, that's for you. So if there's something that you'd like to see more of, something that we've never done that you think we should be doing, if there's stuff that we do every time that you're like, please stop doing this,
Yeah.
let us know. So there's going to be a survey out.
Yeah, it's gonna be launched this afternoon after stream.
Cool.
It's gonna be on social media, on Steam, everywhere I can put it.
So
And,
you've worked on a really cool plan of what could be.
Could be.
And we'll integrate some of the suggestions from people, and we'll take that feedback in, and then
That's
we'll
the
put it
plan.
together. As you may have noticed, the fact that we have a much more regular delivery schedule, and we've already talked in advance of what's coming, means that in the stream we tend to not have as much big chunks to discuss. So we want to make sure that we get the most use out of these little episodes.
Absolutely.
So yeah, that's it.
Other thing,
Yeah.
that's for you. This one's
one?
for you. This
Okay.
one.
Oh yeah, Behavior Digital is recruiting. Seriously, we are. So we've announced 2 weeks ago at PAX that there's a new game coming from the Behavior Digital Studios called Dead Garden. Yay. but they need people on that team. We also talked about the fact that Dead by Daylight went from about 30 people 2 years ago to close to 80 right now, and we still need more. As you may have noticed, we have a lot of content coming. We are fixing a lot of our issues. We are changing the game as much as we can to make this even better and stronger. And
So we're growing the team.
yeah,
again.
and there are other projects starting because of the success of this and because of the expected success of our other projects and because we want to make more games. So we need people. Right now I think there's over 75 to 80 different positions open. You can see that on the website. It's a great company to work in. We give good conditions. You will be working on exciting projects, and best of all, you will be working from Montreal, which is a great place to be.
All right. So yeah,
There.
that was the.
Go check the official website. We can probably link it. Please, someone on the mod team can link it in the chat. Yeah. We need people. So if you're interested, if you want to join the ranks of Behavior Digital, now's the time.
Perfect. Thank you. We have two major issues right now. We have a lobby issue, which prevents people to. We don't exactly know what's happening with that. So we have a call for data from our QA. So it's on Steam Forum. So if you have any data on, when I opened the lobby, it took like 20 minutes before people joined, or I never joined, so I closed it up. We need logs. We need every information that you can give. So right now we have a post open on this, so please check it out.
So we've done that in the past for other
And
issues.
it really helped.
And it really helped. And so right now, usually it's that the problem, the biggest issue with bugs is finding absolute ways to reproduce them. Once we've nailed down exactly the conditions that make a bug appear, we can fix it. But until it happens, then it's very hard to fix a bug. And right now, this is an issue that we do not see internally, but we know that it happens out there in the wild.
Yeah.
So there's missing variables that we need you to help us pinpoint. So please help us. We don't wish that to happen to anybody, but if it does happen to you, take a moment and fill the information in the Steam page, and you will hopefully make sure that it doesn't happen again.
All right. So we have another issue that we are aware of, and we're looking into this problem right now.
Yeah.
There was a major IP block for our Russian players.
Yeah.
So
That is not on our side. That's just not on our side. That's in the networks in Russia and the way they're handled. And so right now, the Amazon servers that we use for some of our backend is just not being allowed by the Russian networks for the most part, as far as I understand. I'm not the right guy to talk about this in details, but we looked into it, and there's very little that we can do on our side. We will look into potential workarounds, but it's...
And it is not just Dead by Daylight, it affects a lot of other games. So we know that a lot of other people are looking into this also. Then, a little short announcement, inventory icons. You can now see your inventory on Steam.
The Steam inventory, yeah.
We finally got the icons on, yay!
Yeah.
So let's celebrate for small things.
It's the small things like that sometimes take a while to get in, and sometimes they pass completely unnoticed. So I think it's important that we recognize this. The other thing that I was talking just before the stream that passed completely unnoticed is in the big Emblems patch. There was a change made to the offerings that give bonuses to blood points.
Yeah.
All of them were buffed, and I didn't see a mention of it
Actually,
anywhere.
That actually flew a lot under the radar
Absolutely.
because of
Well,
the
there was a big
change.
patch with a lot of other stuff, but I mean, those offerings now actually are much more significant and make sense. So, I thought it was worth mentioning.
So that was it for the announcements.
Yeah, that's it. So really quickly, we'll talk about it afterwards. Okay. We have some stats, which is essentially, I said last week that we would have stats on the Emblem system. And I was in a big conversation with Julien, our data wizard.
We went for another, right? It was-
Yeah, no. So essentially, what I'm gonna show as stats go today is not the emblem stuff, because the emblem stuff is extremely deep, and it still hasn't really stabilized data-wise. Like we look at what's happening, and it's a little all over the place because I don't think it's settled, and people have really understood how to play it properly, or the system is, maybe there's bits that we need to adjust for it to make sense. I don't know, but we're not ready to show those stats right now, or we wouldn't be able to talk about it in a way that is meaningful. So we are skipping that, but I want to acknowledge it because I said last week that I would. Behavior site is down.
No, you guys draw. Did you guys?
Did
break the
everybody
server?
just go on the behavior website and break it? Oh yeah, that's the other thing I want to talk about. So I have two images that I gave Bjorn that you can show. So questions were asked
Oh,
today about this piece of gear. There. And you can show the other version. There. So this is a true thing that was slipped into the build with the Emblems patch, and it is a King Kong shirt. So King Kong is a streaming broadcasting platform from Asia that we wanted to acknowledge, similar to the Twitch shirt.
It's a
And the-
partnership we
yeah.
have with them, so.
So that's it. So it's the exact same principle as the Twitch shirt. It's also enabled on a case-by-case basis. So there it is, the explanation of what this mysterious new cosmetic is. Thank you for bringing it up.
And yeah. All right. So
Oh,
the
okay.
are we
That,
doing the stats?
Rayuri, I'm not exactly sure what you're talking about. I'll look into it though. Okay, so I have Q&A. Is that where we're at right now?
No, we're at stats.
Oh yeah, okay. So Julien was kind enough. So, but essentially it bleeds into the Q&A because it's a question from Earthling Kira. Question for your data scientist. Could you please generate the stats for escape rates of survivors against killers at high rank for the matches where the killer played without add-ons? I'd really like to see how viable the killers are without add-ons. So there we go. Here you have, this is PC, Xbox One, and PS4. All of them.
All together.
So you have rank 1 to 5 and rank 20, because the stuff in the middle is not as significant, so we just
and
separated
he
that.
excluded the disconnections also.
Yes, from
And the
this.
game with
So
disconnections.
it's the, on the side here, you see it goes from 0.0 to 1.0, and it's your escape chance. Think of it as a percentage. So if you're at 0.5, it means you have a 50-50 chance of escaping. Rank 20, obviously, survivors survive much more. And if you look at the rank 1 to 5, the survival rates drop. It looks significant when you look at it like this, but it's about 10%, the variation, maybe 20 in the extreme cases.
Kira is like, yes.
So in gray, you have without add-ons. So there's obviously it's a little easier to escape from killers without add-ons, and then in orange or yellow, depending, you have the version with add-ons. So you can see that some of them, it makes a bit more difference than others. So for instance, the Trapper and Leatherface, the difference between add-ons and no add-ons is not as big as, let's say, Freddy or the Doctor, where the add-ons are much more meaningful. But even then, in the extreme cases, the variations, the survival rates are pretty close across the board. That's it. And you can also see that the effectiveness of the killers in general is pretty close. The variations are within a couple percent. Yeah. So that was the stats for today. Yes, I know which ones you're talking about, Rayuti. Yeah, okay. We'll fix that. Okay, so I have some Q's and some A's here.
All right.
Since you said you don't want to exclude anyone and I've stopped making them the exclusives, will you make the exclusive cosmetics available for purchase legally? So that's a very good question. And yes, with the store and the cosmetics that we will release in the store, it's still being discussed very forcefully, but there are some that will probably never be available. We're talking about the ones that are specifically for certain streamers.
Or partnerships.
Or partnerships, like the
with-
Taipei Game Show and the Thailand the tournaments. So these things will very, very likely stay locked forever. But there are some, I don't know, maybe the Dweer can come back, some form, Daddy Jake. These things might happen. Okay.
I can answer that one if
Yes,
you want.
so I'll ask the question. There's a question here from Space Coconut asking about some of the palette loops, palette quantities, palette vacuum, and the survivor perks that make them very powerful, and how we're gonna deal with that and the killer's frustrations that arise from
All
that.
right. Well, things that are really fun right now is that loops are being worked on. I've actually seen a lot of testing from the design team on different loops, new gyms, like new render of like which palettes are safe, unsafe, how you can play around it and everything. Then palette vacuum changes are being tested also, which actually it was looking really good. This is in testing phase. We're not ready at all to push that out, but it is being worked on as we speak. As for example, DS, this is absolutely on the list of things that are coming, but I have nothing I can say about the ideas that we have because they're still really at the ideas point.
Yeah.
So that's it. I'm really happy about that one.
Cool.
Oh, and by the way, scratch marks and sounds, we had a lot of good feedback on the changes. So I hope we're
Yeah,
gonna
that's cool.
continue like that.
Okay, are there any plans to work on and release a very much needed optimization patch for console version of the game? So this is ongoing. Since the launch of the console in June to today, there have been many, many improvements. Every time we patch, usually we try to slip in a few improvements on performance and optimization. We are certainly not done, so we will continue to improve on the performance on console. We understand that it is it's needed. We're not done working on that. So it's going to be ongoing. Are there any plans to tweak the values of the chaser emblems for killers and the benevolent emblem for survivors? Right now, they're both extremely hard to achieve in gold, let alone iridescent. So yes, the survey will be a great place to put these kind of comments. And yes, some of the emblems right now are harder to achieve than was intended. So, obviously iridescent should be very difficult to get, but gold should be less difficult.
Yeah.
And right now, some emblems, they're easy or they're the right place to be, and some definitely need an adjustment. We know already that they're not
We had a
perfectly
lot of
balanced.
discussions also with because people are still looking at blood points and compare with emblems, so maybe it's just like also
There's a
to
matter of
try to have
perception
like
also.
to try to have something that is closer together.
Did you stealth nerf X totems with this new patch? They are easier to find on the game map more than ever. Before they were more obscure to find. So I actually went digging for that one. I didn't think we nerfed anything. And I talked to Matt Spriggins, our lead designer, who said, no, I don't think so. And then I talked to Matt Walker, who is the one person who could have done something about that. And he's like, no, I did nothing. So obviously you were very lucky lately.
There is actually have been like work on the spawning rules for totems that would improve and buff totems and not the opposite, but that was in testing and that never went in live. So nothing changed. You just had like a really...
You were lucky. Yes, the cosmetic shop that we're talking about will be available on console as well. Absolutely. If someone tries to jump off the hook and ends up in struggle and or dead, how does that affect benevolent for the other survivors? It doesn't, really. I checked with McLean, who checked the code for that. So the only thing is once you get put on the hook, points are taken from everybody that can be given back if you're saved or if you get off the hook.
So it does, because you can't save him.
So it doesn't change the... It removes the opportunity for someone to save you.
So in a
so
way,
in a
it
sense,
does.
yes.
It does affect the others.
But it's like you were never hooked. if you get off the hook by yourself, it's like you
okay.
were never hooked.
Yeah.
So nobody loses anything. Everything
And
comes
you don't
back to
get
normal.
benevolent point yourself.
No.
Okay.
Did you consider adding blood points or emblem points for being able to dodge killer abilities, hatchets, blinks, chainsaw, traps, basically M2 attacks, maybe even on M1? So that's an interesting one, but the biggest issue with that is trying to figure out, did the killer just miss because they're bad, or did you dodge because you're good? Because we don't want to reward you if the huntress just throws shitty hatchets everywhere around you and you're like, oh, I was dumb, but I didn't get hit. That'd be kind of stupid. So this is a tough one.
Well, you're rewarded by
Not dying?
by not dying by escaping.
But that's it.
You get more points.
But
in
not
that emblem.
specifically for that.
No.
And it's because it's extremely hard to determine what happened at that moment. Oh, okay, that's an interesting one. Okay, my question is, now that your studio is completely independent, how would you say it has impacted things both positively and negatively since the change? So this is still new, so it hasn't changed the culture or the way we do things in such a drastic manner yet, but we can already see things, for instance, decisions to create a store or to change the way we're going to do promotion or marketing. It means that we can make that decision in a room here amongst ourselves, agree to it, and put it in motion immediately without having to get another layer of approvals on top. So that's the main thing. Also, it means that we are now building departments and expertise for things that we were leaving in someone else's hands before, whether it's marketing, art, and videos and things like that that we were not doing in-house
It's also
before.
why we're growing the team.
Absolutely, it's another part of that. Yeah, so that's how it changed things. But it's going to change more things as time goes on.
Yes.
Now that the new emblem system is out, can you make it so that the players with the most emblem points is mentioned as an MVP at the end of the game?
I know I always mention it
Yeah.
when I play with MVP, but that would be really cool though.
It could be. When I asked that of Matt Spriggans, he said that they have an idea right now for some titles, like specific titles that could be awarded to some people at the end of the game, but that's still in the
1,000 blood points for MVP.
something like that. But it's not even.
And then it's gonna be Farm Fest, so I hope that's not gonna happen. I hope we're sticking with
Yeah.
titles.
Okay. In the future, will we get any pop-up, like we earned blood points, how good we're doing towards specific emblems? So in the game, you get a pop-up.
There
Yeah.
was a list of like improvement for emblems that were. It's not a pop-up. It's just like a more information on.
During the game.
Yeah.
All right. So that's a big design.
There was discussions.
Yeah, but
Sorry,
that's the thing. Is
discussions.
it's another one of those things where there are very valid arguments on both sides, and it's almost more of a philosophical standpoint, because the big thing. I mean, it changed with time because of the status effect and everything, but the idea at the beginning, at least of the project, was to keep the UI as minimal as possible and to not make it a game about score and points and immediate rewards like this, and not have like a old tab to get the table of everything that's happening right now, and make it more of a play the game as it is, and then we'll tell you how you did
So
afterwards.
more atmospheric.
That's
right?
it. So from the beginning, that's why I say it's more of a philosophical standpoint,
Yeah, but
the
then you have like
conversations about this.
all the proficiency icons.
Well,
all
that's
these
it.
things
So
that have
with
been
the
added.
last 2 years, this changed because, like Dave points out regularly, this game is not so much ours anymore. It's ours, but it's also yours, as in the players out there. So some things that we thought were great and that we were standing by our side, right now we go, oh yeah, this is what you're asking for, and it's your game as much as it's ours. So it's an ongoing philosophical debate, this one. So I wouldn't hold my breath on this changing, but I'm telling you that it's being discussed. Is Bloodlust going to get changed like you guys mentioned a while back? So big changes, well, moderate changes, let's say, are done. two bloodlust internally. They're being tested by our regular play tests here.
And that comes in with like all the loops and palettes and vacuum changes. So of course it's not going to be just like, oh, here's a change, and have fun with that.
I have a question here. So the plan is to release a new chapter every quarter. Will they all be original? If so, there still be room for licensed chapters? So the idea is to release a chapter every quarter. That's exactly correct. They will not necessarily all be original. So if we have a licensed opportunity that we decide to grab, then it will be one of those chapters. Yeah. It's not going to be an extra chapter stacked onto, because it's not like we can create a team to work on that while we're doing the rest of the game. So it would have to be one of those chapters. But what I can tell you is that the next one is an original one. Are there any upcoming events or challenges coming soon in the foreseeable future?
The next event is the anniversary.
Is it gonna be fun?
Yeah, of course it's gonna be fun. I'm not gonna be sitting here and be like, nah, you're gonna, you know.
Alright. So this, there you go. So, soon.
Well, June.
Yeah. That's soonish.
That's soon enough for me.
There you go.
That has to organize a lot of things.
Has there been any further progress made with regard? Do you want to say that word?
Regards.
To the soft band system on console.
Absolutely. Actually, as we were saying earlier, saying like, hey, we're not using the external report form anymore, is because we have someone working on the in-game report form to make it accessible, and that's on the list. I don't know when it comes, but it's on the list of the tasks. It is having the bands possible on console, the soft bands, yeah.
Could you make the hooked bubble not block the vision of anything behind it, or at least let the killer silhouette go past it?
Oh yeah, that's a question that comes back a lot, and we have different opinions on the team on that one specific thing. So this is not gonna be touched. I don't think so anytime soon. Correct me if I'm wrong, people from design.
Yeah. Yeah, probably not gonna be touched, at least not any minute now.
Yeah, it's gonna be 2 months, no events, guys. I know it's a bit, it's gonna be a bit dry for a bit, but
I believe that the design team said it was intentional. So
I do believe so. There's people on the design team that are like, hey, we could get rid of this.
It wasn't my intention.
And then other people. So there's discussions. Yeah.
Have you ever thought of giving each survivor an individual skill or buff that is specific to them to make them playstyle more unique? Absolutely. So the survivors' perks, since they're teachables, means that as opposed to the killers who have their powers, the survivors end up being just an aesthetic choice. Once you have unlocked everything in the world, then it becomes more of an aesthetic choice. We've talked many times about that, and it still might come. There's been a few different versions of that, whether it's a passive ability, whether it's the fact that these perks would be stronger if they are played by the character who owns them, if you will. So yeah, there are many different versions of this that have been discussed, and it still may come. Do you have more information on that?
No, not for now.
Okay, good.
So we're making it kind of short-ish and sweet today.
Yeah, that's absolutely fine. And we're still at the 30-minute mark. So let's go to the interwebs and see what people have been coming up with this week-ish. Okay, this is a beautiful, that was not an order, that was not a request, that was just something that this person made, and it's the doctor being eaten by a bird. So there, I love that creativity flows in our community. The next one is,
I like that.
it's just really cool. That's it,
She
I've
looks
got nothing
awesome.
else. She's just ready
She's
to
like
face the world.
Determination here.
Yeah, this also is a very intense version. It looks like Lobo found a huntress outfit.
That smile is scary.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Oh. That's like the cutest thing in the world.
It's ridiculously adorable. You want to tickle him. Thank you for that. That's a
Wow.
yeah,
Awesome.
very very beautiful rendition of our Meg. Thank you. This is Calvin and Hobbes kind of version of this. There was a few panels on it. I love it very, very much. I love that this is a reference to 30 Rock, Steve Buscemi's character in 30 Rock, which is the very worst private detective ever. Beautiful. Beautiful.
Lots of Huntress today.
Funtress. There you go. It's a new hobby.
Ooh.
Yes, awesome burlesque version of our killers. Wake up, Dwight. Wake up. Not time to have a nap. It's very nice. This also was a whole series of the characters. You know, pixel art is so difficult. Seriously, this is a
But I
beautiful
love it.
achievement.
I'm laughing 'cause
Yeah,
I
yeah.
love it.
No, but it's beautifully
I
rendered.
need
It's
this.
unmistakable. I love it.
McLean is like, I need this.
All right. This. How adorable is this? I want to play that game now. You know, when you need a little bit of gardening in your life.
Oh, that was my favorite of the week.
I like the hag tickles. Well, I mean, there is blood in there, but it still tickles.
That was from Reddit. I
Yeah.
think that's where I found it. This one was a GIF, and I couldn't upload it properly with our news system.
Oh yeah, it was.
It was a GIF, and she was walking, and I'm sorry, it's not a GIF right now.
There are some good gifts out there that we need to be able to display. Maybe a little challenge here. That is, yeah, that's very well done.
The GIF is broken. I know. I'm sorry, Lucy. This one.
The Myers chin on this is upsetting.
I think that one also was on Reddit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Was it? I'm not sure where. The mods found this one.
Yeah, I found this
They
one on
found
the
last
Tumblrs.
4.
So thank you very much for this, everyone out there. Please continue to show us your talent.
Yes, and we are going to just go back really quickly
On the
news and
news?
announcements. Emblem feedback survey is already out. Please fill it up with all your comments. We are revamping the dev streams. It's starting at the 100th episode. I will send a new feedback survey for dev streams this afternoon on social media.
Yes, and yes, on that, yeah. We're closing the external report form.
Use the in-game report form from now on. We have someone who is working on improving your accesses, copy and paste, the proof and everything.
We are absolutely aware of the IP block that's currently getting in the way of our Russian players playing the game. We'll do everything we can on our side, but it's for the most part out of our hands, unfortunately.
We know we have some lobby issues. We have a call for data on the Steam forums. Check out Shelby's post.
If you have any issues with the lobby, report them, please. Behavior Digital is hiring. We're recruiting vigorously. If you are anywhere around the world and you have skills that you think could be useful and put to good use on some of our teams, please go check the official website and submit your resume.
All right.
That's it, really. Inventory icons in Steam are now a thing. We're very happy about that. So that wraps up our episode for today. It was short and sweet. Thank you very much for joining us once again. Thanks to Bjorn for
And all the
screwing up
mods.
very few things today. There's this little bit here, but that's fine.
And all the mods that are or aren't listed on our list here.
Thank you very much, Gab, for this, and we will see you next week.